forward and they see. Who know they make me happy and they see. Who know they push me forward and they see. Who know they make me happy and they see. Me I want quite a thing to flop joy. Yeah, but Marabu never stop me shining. And they see from the party. Put your hands up, make me the tanga. To say I'm a man, but now I'm alive today, my life in a testimony. Baba God, I will give you the praises. Baba God, if not be you, try, I'm on the yeah, my brother, I did bring it from Ghana. My body man, yeah, my brother, I did bring it from Everybody man, they push me forward and they see. They make me happy and they see. They push me forward and they see. They make me happy and they see. She back at the speed of my car. For me to have. Sure. And I told it.
If you don't run before war,
you don't run anymore.
If you don't run before collapse,
You don't run anymore.
Amba boys worry,
Shoot me, I shoot you.
Amba boys worry.
Fire me, I fire you.
If you don't run before war,
Do not run anymore.
if you don't run before collapse,
Do not run anymore.
Amba boys worry,
Shoot me, I shoot you.
Amba boys worry,
Fire me, I fire you.
Amba boys worry.
Shoot me, I shoot you.
Yo, when injustice becomes a law, resistance remains our duty. His Excellency Ayok Chilostabe, we shall resist the restoration. Free them all. Free all the Ambazonians in their dungeons. Mancho BBC, Veterans, free them all. They want to be free. Ayabacho, from the depth of River Manu to the height of Ambazonia, men you for Christ, out for freedom. Let their land shout for restoration. September 22, we remember. 1st October, another genocide. We never give up, we never give up. Still we stand and fight for our...
Thank you for watching. You're watching your special show today with Comrade Fritz. Today I am bringing you with our freedom fighters. This is a day in America and Ambazonia where the veterans, those people who have sacrificed for the nation, those people who have fought for the freedom of America today, they are celebrated. The same thing is happening in Ambazonia. I'm coming today because I want the Ambazonian people to know that the freedom fighters, those people who are on the battlefield, are special people. They are not just the people we neglect, not just the people we just see on the way and pass. They are the people that they are honored. We have to understand that this day is called Veterans Day, where the freedom fighters, the veterans, their family, their children, their wives, their everybody, it has to celebrate and give them honor, because these are the people who are holding the key to our freedom. Sometimes we hear people talking trash. People don't understand the sacrifice of freedom fighters. I understand people sacrifice their own way. People give their own interpretations. But to be on the battlefield is different. It's different. It's not the same. People are in the diaspora. They don't understand. That is a different setting. You can be behind your computer, you can be behind your phone and write nonsense, talk all kind of trash, make all kind of audios. Stay on the battlefield for 1 hour and you understand what these guys are going through. Sometimes people just like to say things, but Ambazonian freedom is in the hands of the restoration fighters. And we have seen that for the past 8 years. Imagine these sacrifices. Some have lost their life in battlefield. Some have lost their life through betrayal. Some have lost their life through infighting. Some lost their life just through neglect of normal policy rules within the battlefield. But this, for the last 8 years, we have seen all these mistakes, because some of our leaders, instead of spending time to direct, to mentor, to coach, to help these freedom fighters stay in line with international rules and international policy, international law, they instead spend time fighting among them and making the soldiers to be fighting among themselves too. I don't understand how we are fighting for a liberation movement. We are there fighting. Instead of us spending time to enlighten, to educate, to nurture these freedom fighters, because they have not gone to any training before. Most of them, very few of them have been in the military, and they know nothing about some laws, some policy, some stuff that we can direct them. We have chairmen, we have defense chairs in all the counties, all the LGAs. That is their job. We have seen guys who spend time arguing for positions instead of spending time to direct these restoration fighters what to do, what not to do, to be cautioned, give them very, very important direction, not to go against international law. Because in any freedom fighting, in any war, in anything that you do which is freedom fighting, they are being guided by international law. And we have to understand that. Because if we just keep say, okay, these guys are fighters or they are freedom fighters, they know what they are doing, they know. No. Why do you think someone like Ayaba became very popular in the news today? Because he's a leader. He has the obligation to direct, mentor, to give good direction to these guys. If you're a leader, what is your job? You manage, you micromanage, you give directive, you assign, you give responsibilities to people, you do all these things as a leader. That is why if something happens, they'll hold you. They'll not hold them because they say they are taking orders from above. They are taking orders from above. And you as a leader, you have the responsibility to protect, the responsibility to direct, the responsibility to manage, the responsibility to mentor. That is your responsibility. That's why Ayaba has been arrested today. Because he failed to do that. And when we were cautioning all this time, we tell these leaders, hey, these guys, they take direction from you. They take orders from you. Okay? You are the commander-in-chief. So those titles, people take them just to go and sit with them. You don't take titles to go and sit. Chairman, director, you take those titles, big titles, commander-in-chief, president of this, president of that. Those titles are not for you to go and sit in your home with titles. It's just like someone working with they ask him, what is your certificate? He say, I have birth certificate. You have all kinds of certificates in your back, but no sense. Today in America, the Veterans Day is very respected. That is why we are also doing it in Ambazonia, to tell the fighters, thank you for your service. Our people have to learn that every country has their soldiers. Those soldiers, their responsibility is to protect the territorial integrity of that country. People can be saying what they want. If, when this struggle started, the soldiers were being guided by the local population. Why? Because they believed that the soldiers were protecting their interest. La Republic soldiers manipulated some of these guys. Some became, they say, black leg. Some became this. Some became betrayer. Some became this. But the thing with that we want to talk today is to say thank you for your service. In America, what we see here is that the soldiers are very much respected. Why? Because the Americans believe they are fighting for their freedom. In all the wars that America has been through, they respect their soldiers. And I want to pass the same message to the Ambazonian people. Don't play with Ambazonia Restoration fighters. Don't disrespect these guys because they are fighting for your own freedom. I understand there are some of them who are rogue. They have used the struggle trying to do negative stuff. Of course, even in the Cameroon military, there are armed robbers there, right? But it's because we don't have a mechanism to hold some of them accountable. Our own role is to direct, is to manage, is to control, is to advise. But as it stands now, it's very difficult for us to hold some of these guys accountable for any wrongdoing or crimes against humanity. That is why they are holding someone like Ayaba. Because he, as a leader, had the responsibility to direct these guys to do the right thing. If a company falls or a company crumbles, who do they hold? They start from the top. They'll not go and start holding those employees down there. They'll start from the CEO of that company. And that is why if the ADF or the egg of sea was doing something that is against international law, international, they will hold them to account. Because once you said you want your If our crisis was a civil war, in the international community will not worry too much too, because they know that, okay, they'll say, settle your problem among you, like in a national dialogue style. This crisis would have ended long ago. But it has not. The level of this struggle now is not just at a level of the domestic. It is international. That's why anything you do, anything you say, anything you are operating, any way you run yourself, the international community is watching you, because our crisis, our war is international. The most important thing some of you should understand is that any little thing you do to these soldiers, to these freedom fighters, go a long way. Some of you might think that you have $25, $10, or you have this support, you have a clothes, you have a shoe, you have this, you have that. But anything you do to the freedom fighters goes a long way. Why? Because they are in the battlefield. Majority of these guys are not working. They don't do anything. They're there, some still in the bushes. They are struggling to free your homeland. What do you do to encourage them? What do you do on your part to say, hey, take this? What is your contribution to help to move the struggle? One American president said, don't ask what the country has done for you. Ask what you have done to your country. That's when you start knowing responsibility of each person. Because when you keep talking, this man have done this man have not done this man, ask yourself what you have done to your country. And until you ask yourself that question, you should stop asking people what they have done. Because responsibility starts from you. What have you done for the past 8 years? Ask yourself, put yourself down, audit your own self. Do self-auditing. Ask yourself, what have you done to help propel this freedom that we are fighting? That's when you will understand that these guys are sacrificing. Think of how many freedom fighters, the generals, the people, all these sacrifices. It is very usual in any war for soldiers to fall. We don't say soldiers die. Soldiers don't die. They say the soldiers fall. Okay, and they become heroes. We have learned that in this struggle, people at the beginning of the struggle, people were trying to own soldiers. They were trying to say, hey, these are my fighters. This is my this. But when they realize that there's more to that than you saying that those are my fighters, there's more to that. When we were having those problems where people, instead of helping these guys to direct them, they were there fighting for positions. I want to be the chairman. I want to be the LGA chairman of this. I want to be the county chairman of this. I want to be the this. Then you have the other guys too. They want to be the defense chief. They want to be the defense this of that. They want to be the country coordinator. They want to be the diaspora. Then later, what happened? They realized that those positions they are voluntary positions and nobody pays you. Okay? These positions were very, very voluntary. Then you tend to ask yourself, but what are these guys gaining when they are fighting for positions? Is there now, after the struggle started going to 4 years, 5 years, that's when some of them started withdrawing. They say, this thing save no get money. They were thinking that this struggle would take 2 years. And by number 3 years, Ambazonia will be free. But the history of revolutions, the history of freedom fighters or freedom fighting is not that easy. Because even the war ends today, it will take like 3 years for negotiation to finish. Then another 2 years for people to really settle and say, hey, okay, we are done with this war. But we are still going through this process because the lukewarm attitude of some leaders who don't see themselves as people who can come together, work on a strategy, do things like mature people. Okay, when America was fighting in Afghanistan and Iraq, you saw the president Obama, you saw the Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, you saw the general, you saw this. They sat in a room. They were looking how those soldiers were going to arrest or kill Osama bin Laden. They call it situation room. They will sit and they will direct. Even when Gaddafi was killed, it's the same thing. The government and the military, they work in a unified system. It's not you just saying, oh, those are my army, those are my soldiers, or this is my this is my this. The soldiers recognize that the government has a role to play, and they listen to that. My advice to these soldiers, there are new soldiers who are still new in the struggle. They don't know what happened in the past. 90% of all the soldiers that fell did not fall because La Republic killed them. 90%. That's the advice I want to give to you guys, because you don't understand what you hear. General this fell, general this fell, general this fall, general this. It's not La Republic that killed them. It's not listening to advice. They did not listen to little things that they were telling them. If you're a soldier, be very careful with your surroundings. Where you put your head matters. Where you sleep matters. Where you do things, where you go for cry die, where you go and celebrate, where you go and do anything matters. Because the La Republic military, what are they doing? Their only job is to look for the fighters to kill. If you are a good soldier and you are doing well within your community, that community is the highest protection. Some of you think that your weapon is your protection. No, that's a mistake most soldiers were doing. Your community is your protection. Why do you think these ADF fighters had some huge setback? Because of the things they were doing to the community. General Efang did not die because La Republic killed him. So many generals died. But because they were being used by other of their own people, their inner circle. So the advice is that you have to know that you are in a war, because you are thinking that life is going back to normal, where you can go and fight, go and go to the party, to the nightclub. No. When this war ends today, majority of you, or if not all of you, will automatically be asked to join either police or you stay as a soldier. That's how it happens in every war. So you have to start learning the principles of being a soldier. Today is a very important day, because today is the day that if you, all Americans, do not go to work today, Ambazonians will have to start celebrating the Ambazonia Veterans Day. Americans, today is public holiday. No American go to work today. Why? Just to honor the sacrifices of veterans. And a lot of us don't understand the sacrifices of the veterans. Today, we want to do the same for our people, our freedom fighters in Ambazonia. Thank you for the risks you take, the sacrifices, just to protect the freedom of Ambazonia. To all the veterans, thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your bravery. Okay? Today is that day that Americans don't go to work just to say thank you to the soldiers. Ambazonians, we have to say thank you to the soldiers. Okay? To all those who have served and to those who continue to serve for the freedom of Ambazonia. Happy Veterans Day today. Okay? It's a very important day because we see the sacrifices of these guys. And some of us spend time in talking and talking. I want some of us to have to spend just one time and even sit, or you go to a battlefield and understand how dangerous it is. Some of us just think that talking in these forums and making all this noise is what is the struggle. That's not the struggle. The real struggle is that fight that you see on the ground. That's the struggle. I think some of you guys need to go and stay at least just one day in the battlefield. Just hear the sound of a gun. Just the sound of a gun. Just stay one day. So that when you come and sit now in this behind your computer and your cell phones making those your noise, you understand the sacrifice of these guys. Just the sound of the gun. Just when you are in the battlefield, it's not the same like you sitting at home. So some of you don't understand. You just think that the noise you are making here is that's a struggle you are fighting. Sometimes it's good to take some time. Take some time. Go to the battlefield. See how these guys are fighting. Just take some time off, because you sit behind your computers, you make the loudest noise. You are there making all those noise, blah 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 blah. That's not the struggle. That's not the struggle. It's not. Don't be fooling yourself that you're fighting. You're fighting a struggle by making noise. That's not a struggle. So some of us need to understand. But the one thing I want to tell you guys, let's give more advice to the soldiers. Guide them. All the LGAs, all the chairmen know that your responsibility is not only to sit in meetings and be making noise. We are in a war. We are not in a regular country. We are not making noise in parliament. We are in a war. And the core of this struggle today are the restoration fighters. You can make all those noise that you are making in your meetings and all those noise you are doing. It's nothing without these fighters. Because what you guys are doing, you think that we are in a normal. You spend the whole year without one defense meeting, critical meeting. And I mean, when the crisis started, when the war started, we had the ANC, different from the normal regular government things. They were the one in charge of defense. But I don't know how many times the ANC have held meeting in the past 2-3 years. Why? You make the soldier, they don't even have direction, they don't have leadership, they don't have anything. Just because of you in the diaspora are fighting for power. You are fighting for power when we have not gotten power. What power are you fighting for? The worst thing for you to fight is fighting something that you have not even had it. You are fighting power in the air. The real fight is in ground zero. We have not occupied one piece of land. One piece of land we have not occupied. You are fighting for power. Instead of coming together, have a joint force, help these freedom fighters. Let's win this thing. You there fighting for power in diaspora. You want to be the chairman. You want to be the defense chairman. You want to be the coordinator. You want to be the president. You want to be the this. There will be criteria. This is a war. This is not a political parties thing. This is not time for political parties. Oh. There will be criteria for each leader, whether you are who, to go for training, to go for training. Let's see how many rounds you can shoot. Go for shooting training. Let's see how many rounds you can shoot. If you say you are a leader, don't sit behind your telephone and a TV and making noise. In my profession, they take us for shooting training. You shoot all kinds of rifle, all kinds. It's not this thing that you guys are doing here, making all this noise. You guys need to go for training so that you know how many rounds, how many AKs or all those different types of pistol, rifles, everything, how shotgun, everything that these guys are using back there in ground zero. So that when you are talking behind your phone, you know what you're talking about. Because you just think that you could just sit behind your telephone and be writing trash, making trash audios, talking. You need to hear the sound of a gun. Hear the sound of a rifle pass in your ear. Then you understand what these guys are going through. All this noise you're doing, you need to go to the battlefield. You want to be the chairman. It's not yet time for that. It's not yet time for positions. I'm saying because as a law enforcement person, I'm telling you, when you go for shooting, they will give you like 10 different kinds of guns. They say shoot, that's a target. So you guys just think that for the that's why I don't like to talk too much. When I'm in these meetings, I just hear people talking. They don't even know. They should go one day and sit in ground zero. They hear the sound of a gun. They understand that war is not political party. These guys needs to be celebrated. Because we have seen soldiers who are wounded. We have seen restoration fighters who fall and their wives are there. Nobody even talk about their wives. Nobody even talk about their children. What are you doing? How do you encourage? That is why, being in America in the first place, we have seen how they respect soldiers. They respect soldiers' wives. They respect. For example, in every country that the soldiers are fighting around the world, if you marry an American soldier, you automatically have a green card. It means that they give them that opportunity to get married and start their own family too, while they are in the battlefield. Do we think about these guys, how they want to build their own family too? Do we think about their children? When you spend time criticizing, oh, these soldiers have done this, oh, this, how much have you said, hey, call a soldier one day and say, hey, take this one. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. How much have you sent personally, not this group money that you contribute? They sit behind group. When you give $50, $100, you say you have contributed. Is that money? When we used to be when this struggle started, when people, the real freedom fighters are the ones that are still in this struggle today. Those people who came to squander money, to steal money, instead of giving money. Imagine when we had the draft back then. People contributed all kinds of money. Money will be sent to the refugees. Some money will go to the... But look at how people were embezzling money. That's why I say this struggle is struggling because of our own people, not because La Republic is challenging us. No, this struggle today is at this post position because of Ambazonians themselves. And you tend to see people who, you want freedom, but you are fighting against your freedom. I don't understand how somebody wants freedom, but you're fighting against your own freedom. Then you want to be free. You stay like that. You stay like that. Because you think that freedom is so easy. It's not easy. There are sacrifices. What sacrifices have you made? What have you made to say, okay, this is what is going on? The American soldier, they were there in Cameroon to train Cameroon soldiers. Back then, when around 2019, when the struggle started, they were there to train them for Boko Haram. But they were using those weapons on southern Cameroon, Ambazonia. Those technologies, the Trump administration stopped all those support. This is the general talking about that. I want you to take a listen. Then you understand what we're talking about.
General, I'd like to ask you about there was an article yesterday by Reuters concerning the cutoff of assistance to Cameroon because of concerns about human rights abuses by the Cameroon government. The program halted, included C-130 aircraft, a number of different things. And I'd like to, that report indicated there was a 2017 report by the U.S. State Department that listed a number of significant human rights violations and abuses that were observed in the Cameroon government. Could you comment on what we're doing there other than just this halt? Are we making progress on trying to get that government to stem the tide of their human rights violations?
Senator, thank you. Let me try to explain this, and I'll start by why we're in Cameroon and what we're doing there. We talked this morning about the Chibok girls from a couple years ago, but Boko Haram is the issue there. In 2015, they were the number one terrorist group on the planet. Depending on what you read, they've killed over 20,000 people, some estimates quite higher than that over this time frame. The Chibok girls issue, all kind of atrocities. They are an extremely volatile group that needs to be dealt with. So in that region, our mission there is to train the counterterrorism forces in northern Cameroon that deal with Boko Haram. We've been doing that for several years, and quite frankly, the BUR, the Brigade of Rapid Intervention, is the top shelf counterterrorism unit inside Cameroon. They have performed well, and and that training, by the way, has certainly law of war and battlefield ethics. So that's why we're there. The issue on the Anglophone piece, I won't go into detail on that. I think the article plus the video this morning did a very good job of explaining the history of how it got to the point where we are today. In October of 2017, when it came kind of to a head, the Anglophone states said we want to actually form our own state, the Ambazonia state. There have been issues there with atrocities, issues with allegations of law of war issues, and this is something that I think brings all this to a head. Over the last several months or so, the State Department has put on hold several security force assistance programs. So right before the election in October, I, with the ambassador, went and paid a visit with President Villa, and we had a very direct conversation with him with regards to investigation of these atrocities, transparency of these atrocities, and appropriate battlefield behavior. Since that time, the State Department has made a decision not to allocate significant money, but at the same time, they've released some money that's been on hold to things like Scan Eagle and Cessna aircraft that assist in the Boko Haram fight in the north. We still have programs that we continue with them, all kind of small engagements as well as exercises. We did have, we talked about the state partnership program with Nebraska. We put that on hold, and in conjunction with the ambassador, AFRICOM, we decided not to pursue that because it wouldn't have been a good place for that particular group to be, so we put a halt to that. So the bottom line is right now in Cameroon, they have been a good partner with us counterterrorism-wise, but you can't neglect the fact that they have, there are alleged atrocities and what's going on there. And so we continue to take our cues from the State Department and from the ambassador, and our level of engagement will continue, but not get out ahead of what the State Department would say is if we have to take other actions. We were very emphatic with President Villa.
Yeah, so you can listen to the U.S. general saying how they gave Cameroon the military support against Boko Haram, but they were using the military weapon on the people of Ambazonia. And this is the same thing that happened of recent. We saw a video of Cameroon soldiers, of American soldiers trying to train the U.S. soldiers, and the embassy, the U.S. embassy, put it on their Twitter page that the U.S. is training Cameroon soldiers on certain aspect of. Then they deleted it. Why? Because they forgot that the Biden administration forgot that the Trump administration had given some sanctions. And when they came to power, they did not know that the Trump administration, the ban on this particular weapon and intelligence was not supposed to be done. Because even Cameroon was sanctioned against the AGOA, the American Africa Free Trade. And even some officials were also sanctioned. But the Biden administration came, it's not all policy that they can remember. We understand that. But the Biden administration was so lax with this visa ban thing. Most of the Cameroon government officials were not supposed to travel to the United States because the Trump administration ban was still there. It's still there till today. So those are things that we have to understand, that our actions, our dealings within this crisis, within this war, goes a long way. And America gave us TPS. Why? Because America understands that this war is really going on. America does not give TPS, temporary protective status, to any Cameroonian or any country or a Southern Cameroonian that come to America. America gives that, and we were giving that TPS only with Ukraine, because Ukraine is going an ongoing war with Russia now. So the two countries, Ambazonia and Ukraine, were giving this TPS by America. So that's how to tell you that. Understand that we are in a legal something. We are in a legal battle for the freedom of a country that already existed. A country that, I was even surprised that a country like Norway is arresting somebody who is a freedom fighter. And Norway voted for our independence. Don't forget, all these countries, 64 countries voted for our independence. And they cannot take that vote back. Don't forget that. So when you are in this struggle, know that you are fighting a legal battle. Don't let nobody take your freedom from you. Don't let nobody take your freedom from you, because it's your right. It's embedded in the United Nations. Self-defense is a human right. It has nothing to do with anybody. Don't even look at anybody's face or anybody since for the past 8 years we are fighting this struggle. I'm telling all the freedom fighters, the 8 million Ambazonians, we are all freedom fighters. We are all freedom fighters. Don't think that somebody is more freedom fighter than you, because we are liberating a country of 8 million people. Nobody has been assigned to fight for you. Ambazonians, each and every Ambazonian has a responsibility for that freedom, because it's a freedom of all Ambazonians. It's not a freedom for one person. So don't let somebody think that he's more Ambazonian than you, or is more privileged than you. Nobody is privileged. Every Ambazonian have the same right, the same freedom, the same opportunity, the same privilege to fight for that freedom. That is why anything you're doing in your own side, do it. Don't think that you are trying to compare with some person. There's no comparison with this thing. Our parents fought this thing and left and passed it to us. They call it the baton of power. They handed it to you to continue. To be sleeping and saying, what are these children doing? The worst thing that a father does is to get somebody who can really manage the family when they are not around. That's what they call handing the baton of power, or the next of kin. They keep it. Before they want to die, they look at all the children. They hand it to. Sometimes that's why they hand it to even the youngest son. You will say, why don't give it to that elder son? He said, no. I've watched all my children. I've seen that one is very intelligent. So it's not about age. Forget about your age. Forget about your certificate. Everything you have. This is Ambazonian freedom. We have the same goal, the same vision, the same thing that we are fighting for. If you have a good idea, they will follow you. The richest people in the world today, the best presidents in the world today, are not people with doctorate degree. They are not doctorate degree people. They are people with good vision, good sense of doing something. So don't think that these people come that they are this, they are that. No. Don't take those titles, trash them. Trash all those titles. Bring your ideas. Let's sit in the table and talk for the future of our Ambazonia. Help the soldiers. Help the freedom fighters. Help the refugees. Help the prisoners. Do something for the struggle. That is when we're going to start talking on the same page. But when you are doing trash, doing that distraction, you are not a freedom fighter. You are not ready for this fight. You are still thinking that you are in that age of distraction. When you come to your senses that you are ready to fight for your people, you will start fighting for your people. You will start sacrificing like the freedom fighters in Ground Zero, who are facing the barrel of the gun. I just said it. I want you guys to go and stay one day in the battlefield and come back. Your mentality will change. Your mentality will change. I've been in the battlefield. I'm telling you, if you go there, you hear the sound of the gun, your eardrum will lock. You come back and your mindset will change about the freedom fighters fighting in the ground there. give them the honor, respect the Ambazonia Restoration fighters. Those guys having that weapon, they're the one holding the core of the Ambazonian fight. They have the key in their hand. If La Republic succeeds to take that key from them, this struggle is over. All this noise you're making in social media here, all this noise you're making in a WhatsApp group, that's not the war. The war is in ground zero. I've been there. I've seen wars in different places. I've gone to different trainings. I'm telling you, some of you guys call yourself leaders. You need to go and learn how to shoot. Go do shooting. Have the shooting license. In America, you go and do shooting. They'll give you shooting license, so that you test the kind of, so that when you want to talk to these boys, you know how to talk to them. If a soldier say he has so and so material, you know what the soldier is having, because there are levels of AKs, there are level of different material that if you go learn shooting in America, they'll give you shooting license. You will know what those guys are having. The sound of AK is different. When you hear the sound of AK, your head will ache. If you're not, that's why soldiers, when they come back, people don't think that maybe they have trauma, maybe they have injuries, maybe they have psychological problems, they have their family issues, they have this. Do we think about that? We only hear arguing, nonsense arguments all around. All social media is nonsense argument. We don't sit and say, hey, how do we strategize this? That is what we have to do. Stop these meetings. We have meetings when there's no goal. If we have meetings like before, when this struggle started, our meetings were very meaningful. Now meetings, they don't have meetings, conferences, meetings with not goal. You can have 10 conferences and 10 meetings. There's nothing you achieve from there. Each meeting should have a purpose to achieve. If it's this target, is this thing we want to do. This is objective. It's not just to be sitting and talking, then nothing is done. You sit, do the same thing, the same noise, arguing on meetings and different forums. Learn. This is for Ngalamfo.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Fongala Mpo. I'm the National Vice Chairman of the Southern Cameroon National Council and the
Fongala is the chairman of the
Foreign
NCSC.
Affairs Commission of the organization.
So, what is the situation of your people? Exactly, where is your homeland, and what is the situation?
Yeah. My homeland, Southern Cameroon, a former UN trust territory under British administration, is found in West Africa, east of Nigeria and west of La République du Cameroon. Presently, my country, my homeland, Southern Cameroon, is under occupation of La République du Cameroon, a former UN trust territory under French administration.
So, short, brief story about this French administration. Which is the main problem now?
The main problem that we are facing, we are fighting for our right to self-determination, to restore the identity of the Southern Cameroonian people, to restore our right to freedom and enjoy justice and a sovereign independence like any other free people in order to have a new beginning. Presently, we are under occupation and we have no right to freedom of assembly, freedom of opinion, freedom of thought, and freedom of speech. We are under occupation, as I've stated.
So exactly which kind of occupation belongs to made I mean, you are ruled from French.
Yes, under occupation in the sense that by 1954, Southern Cameroon has a parliament and an elected government. But today, we are ruled by foreign rulers who are appointed by President Biya, who are francophones. This is why I say we are under occupation. Secondly, we have an army of occupation that is established as a crackdown force to make sure that no resistance, no dissent is tolerated. Anytime we have even peaceful protests, our people are arrested, tortured, and killed, as it happened even in the secondary school in Pumba most recently. This is the problem that we are facing, and that's why we are appealing to the international community to come to our assistance. We are a non-violent movement, but they are pushing us to the wall so that they can use their military might to kill our people and occupy our land in perpetuity.
You were also in jail.
Yes.
What about your story, about jail and the movement to keep you out from jail?
Good, thank you very much. On the 20th of January 2007.
Yeah, so I just brought this for you to just get a little glimpse of this. This is Fongalanfo, the former chairman of NCNC. These have been the way the NCNC people have been fighting for many years. So don't think that this struggle started in 2016. Some people think that, oh, these are NCNC people who were going to the United Nations to lobby for the freedom of Ambazonia, Southern Cameroon. You hear him speaking. This is before 2016. To tell you that they have been fighting for long. But the NCNC had the two camps. There were two camps in the NCNC. Those who say the argument of force and those who say the force of argument. So there were two camps. Those people who said they better go in and start fighting with arms, and those people who say no, let's fight with the diplomacy, through diplomacy, and go through diplomatic system. That is how Fongalanfo was one of those people who were fighting with the diplomacy. That was him in the United Nations, explaining why they are fighting and how. This is before 2016. So some people will come and be talking about all these things now in 2016. This crisis did not start now. This fight did not start now. You hear him talking about restoring the identity of the people of Southern Cameroon. Enjoy the justice, enjoy freedom of people of Southern Cameroon. This is what we are fighting for. We are not fighting for positions. We are not fighting for position. We are fighting for the freedom of Ambazonia as a whole. The 8 million people should enjoy freedom. All the human rights should be enjoyed. Okay? Freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom of gathering. All those freedom is what we are fighting for. Thank you for listening. God bless Ambazonia and God bless our restoration fighters. Know that you are in the right path. You're fighting for the freedom of 8 million people. You are not fighting for a leader. You are not fighting for a group. You are not fighting for anybody. You're fighting for the freedom of the whole 8 million people. Anything you're doing in your own corner, keep doing it. You're doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your people. You're doing it for your family. And you're doing it for the future generations. Okay? Don't forget, freedom is not free. We have to sacrifice to get that freedom. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.